All right. Good afternoon, I guess. It's still doing the black screen thing, so I have to see why. I think it's a loop, and I think the loop's ending. I think that's what's going on. So, welcome to the stream. Happy Tuesday night. Hopefully, you guys have had a great week. It's a little cold here, so we're not going to go outside today. It's like 9 degrees, and I really don't have an update on the barn for this week. There really not much has happened, so we'll kind of hold off on that till maybe next week or so. We'll give folks a couple minutes here to join. Looks like we've got Zenny's here. So AV is good. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with the barn cam and why it's deciding not to work, but yeah, we'll give it a few moments here before we get started. We're kind of hitting like that weekish or so of cold weather, with like really cold weather. It's supposed to be minus 12 Saturday night. The barn's fine. The barn will withstand that just fine. So I'm not really too worried about that. Like today, like I said, it's 9 degrees right now. The wind chill's minus 1. And the barn is fine. It feels fine in there. It's warm in there. It's the fish are fine. So it's doing well. So hello, SC Catahoulous. Welcome. Hello, Zenny. Thank you for having everyone like on their way in. Definitely appreciate that. A little tired today, to be honest with you. We've got today's the first day back at work, so a little kind of catching up a little bit. So, and I was up kind of late last night. I watched the Indiana Miami national title game, which was pretty good. It was a pretty exciting game. So, if you are a football person, I think that was a good way to end the season. So. So Zen says that we're actually supposed to freeze this weekend in Houston. Yeah, that's pretty rare for you guys, I think. I don't think that happens too often. So, yeah, it's we're getting we get like 1 week a year usually where it's like brutal, crappy cold weather, like really bad. It's not sustained. It's not like a Wyoming or like out in like let's say like Nebraska or Kansas or like northern Minnesota, like where it's like a this sustained like for like weeks and weeks on end where it's like negative temperatures, etc. So hey Beto, how's it going, buddy? So I'm glad you got fry from the guppies I gave you, so or that you bought for me. That's cool to see. So yeah, I was very yeah, we get it for like a week, and then it kind of goes back to less crappy, we'll call it. So hopefully nothing freezes. And I know last year we had the pipes froze going out to the barn, which was not a fun one, but we got through that. I've made sure that the plug for the heat tape that I use on the plumbing that goes out there is plugged in. It's basically taped into the outlet, so it's not going to go anywhere. So we're good there. I had overflows freeze last year too, which was kind of not good, but I think put some stuff on that too. So, hey Ed, how's it going, buddy? Just spill on myself. That's not good. So, yeah, so I think we've got a fair number of folks here, so let's go ahead and, like I said, for those just joining, we're not going to go out to the barn tonight. It's a little cold. I went out there a little earlier. Fish are fine and everything. It's just, and there's really not a lot to update out there, so I really don't have anything to really, like, show you that's really that great. So, it's just going to be the same fish again, so. Let me go ahead here. I'm going to go ahead and we'll flip the screens around to, the fish game and all that kind of stuff, and then we'll go from there. All right, so here we are. This is the first thing I do want to make kind of an announcement. I am going to be speaking at the Greater Detroit Aquarium Society. It's going to be this Friday, the 23rd. It does not show up very well on here. I do apologize. When they made the graphic, they didn't put the location in there. It's in a post, so I kind of had to copy it. But it's at 3364 Rochester Road, Troy, Michigan. I'm going to be doing my G'day talk. I kind of updated it basically for the talk that I'm going to be giving at the Keystone Clash. So it's going to be one of those, yeah, it's going to be basically a very similar talk. I may change a few videos out for the Clash, but this is going to be my Clash talk. I really had wanted to give this in August. I was actually going to reach out to one of the guys in the club and be like, hey, can I do this in August so that I can do it with, right before the Clash. So I can kind of run through any loose ends or anything that's kind of, time it and do all that stuff. 'Cause I know the timing, and those big events is kind of tight. So, yeah, so that's that. So if you're around Troy, Michigan, check that out. It's a small group right now. I think it's one of the oldest clubs in Metro Detroit. I think it was started in the 1950s. For a lot of reasons, kind of had fallen on some kind of hard times a little bit, and kind of trying to come back a little bit with some younger leadership and things like that. So I'm a member of Greater Detroit. I did pay my $10 membership dues. So we had a bunch of people join too. So we have got Cheryl, Foxy's here. Welcome. I've got In My Tanks is here. So welcome, guys. So yeah, so I'm going to be doing that, and it'll be fun to do it on Friday. They're smart by trying Friday night to see if they can get some more people. I think that's a good idea. I've kind of pushed the Motor City, which is the sister club, kind of, I don't know, competing, maybe not. My mind, no, but some others think it kind of is. So yeah, I've been kind of pushing them, like, hey, we should actually do meetings on the weekend so that people can go and participate and do things like that. Because I think it's hard, especially if you have to work in an office or in a, at a plant or in a job somewhere, that, they go home, catch fish, bag fish, do all that, and then go to a club meeting on a weeknight is kind of a tough deal. So, but I think that's a long thing. So Beto asked me if I will film the talk. Yes, I am going to probably do another member video. So yeah, I'm going to do that. The last time I gave this in Detroit, there was some really interesting discussion that happened. There's a slide, if you guys who are members, there's a slide about Jim Langhammer in that talk. And there was a lot of really good stories and discussion that happened with that slide. So I want to kind of capture that in the video if I can. Because there's a lot of people that will be at this meeting that know Langhammer, that knew him, that were like, they're kind of like the next generation. So I think that's one that's why. And I think it would be cool for members to see that. And I will refilm it again. So yeah, so stay tuned to that. And I'll put a members post out again with that. If you're a member, you saw the post this week about the roll for fish food. I did change the sheets up a little bit. Tried to make it a little bit more interesting. I've filmed through episode 40 so far, and I think the new sheets make it a little bit more interesting. It's a pain. I will say the one thing, though, it's a pain in the neck to keep all of the vegetable matter and stuff fresh, and it's kind of annoying. That part's kind of annoying for me because I don't buy that stuff normally. Like I don't buy, cauliflower and broccoli and stuff like that. So then it kind of went bad on me. So I'll have to figure out something for that, but. Anyways, if you guys have any feedback on the roll for fish food, I definitely appreciate it. It's doing okay. It's kind of leveled off a little bit, so I don't know if it's just not, I'll have to watch a few of them and see. But it's not really garnering the views that I would have liked it to the last few days anyway. So we'll see. So moving on now to some more events, like I said, that are not me speaking at, or at least the first one I am speaking at. But other events that we can take a look at here is the Keystone Clash. I am speaking at this one. This one is the like the 20. I didn't put the dates on here. It's the 26th through September, around that weekend, that last weekend in September. It's a great event. I was able to go for the first time last year. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. It was one of my favorite events that I've been to. If you guys have not been to the Keystone Clash, I would highly, highly recommend it. It's a great time. The hotel's decent. The elevators are a little weird, but in terms of like how spaced apart they are. But it's a great place to have an event. It's kind of a club run event, which are a little bit more fun, I think, than the big, huge trade show things. So, highly recommend going. It is in Morgantown, Pennsylvania, which is kind of towards Philadelphia. I think it's like an hour or so outside of Philadelphia. For me, it's about an 8-9 hour drive. Not terrible. So, but it's a lot of fun. And it's great fish keepers, great fish show, great vendor room, great speakers. So, I don't know if they're scary. They're just weird. I didn't find them scary. I found them kind of just oddly spaced. Like you could fit like 3 more elevators in the space between the two that you have. Like, and then you gotta like run to the other side if it comes. So it's a little bit interesting how they designed that. So, but it's not something we're gonna change now or ever. So it is what it is. All right, next one up, Aquashella. If you've not been to an Aquashella, I'll recommend that you go like once. It's more. This is more of a big trade show type of event. Foxy said Brian and I were in one of them, and they took quite a while to open. The one time, no thing. Oh, okay. I never experienced that. They were pretty decent in terms of opening time. I have broken out of an elevator before. That's on my list of things that I've done. No, they're not bad. At least what the problem is like, I'm going to try to do this on a screen, so bear with me. There's one that's on like, there's like a wall. There's a big wall where the elevators are. It's like a 20, I'd say it's like a 24-foot wall. And there's one elevator on one side, and there's one elevator on the other side, and there's this huge space in the middle of it. Like I said a few minutes ago, like you could literally fit like 3 other elevators in that space. And it's just a weird setup and how that all works. And it's just the way, it's something in the design. There's probably a good reason. I'm not an engineer for why that is what it is, but yeah, it's just weird in terms of like the spacing of it. Like it's not bad. Like they're not like, I didn't find them to be horrendously slow. They weren't, they weren't rockets by any means, but yeah. Yeah, so Foxy puts it well. So they're like 15 feet apart in time together. You never know which door is going to open, and you have a few seconds before the door. Yes, you have to be kind of on the stick in terms of. All right, so Zeddy says, I bought tickets to the 2019 Dallas Aquashella, but it was in March of 2020, and we know the world shut down. Yeah, the world did shut down in March of 2020, and I couldn't go back the next year for the makeup, so I've still never been. Yeah, like you should go once. I mean, it's not bad. I don't know if like I like outgrew it, or like I think the one thing that, and I think they're trying to bring it back, is like the YouTuber piece of it, where, like this for the smaller YouTubers, like if you're a big YouTuber, I feel like it's made, and I get why it's made that way. It's designed for like the big YouTubers, and if you're a small YouTuber, I've kind of felt after a while that I was kind of like a second-class citizen, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I got in free, but it's like I don't know. Like, I went there for the YouTube information more than anything. But I don't know. It was one of those for me. I was just kind of after the few of them that I went to. I went to them pretty consistently through like 2021, 2022, and then I was kind of just like, yeah, I just kind of was like, been there, done that. Was kind of over it, but um, they're not bad. It's just a different event, you know. And if maybe I consider if they bring like the smaller YouTuber thing back a little bit, but I don't know. Like I said, it's a trade show, so it's just they're gonna have they are gonna have the shrimp contest. They have the flower horn contest. At least when I went, I mean, there's big vendors. I mean, you can find some fish, but a lot of it's like, Fluval has their booth there. There's some sort of more dramatic things going on there. So Beto asked, am I attending any of these? Probably not. I mean, the Chicago one is the same weekend as the Clash, and I'm committed to the Clash, so I will not be at that one. I don't feel like driving to New Jersey, and those are really close together too. Those are both the month of September, which is kind of wild. And then I went to a Dallas one. I went to the first Dallas one, I think. It's 2018-ish, 2019 maybe. Orlando could be interesting. I mean, Orlando's a good place to go to. Florida's just like I think Florida is kind of like the Super Bowl of fish events. If you want to go to a fish event, go to one in Florida. They've always been outstanding for various ways. I mean, I know Aquashella has kind of like the higher, speakers. I think if you're a saltwater person, I would kind of hit up Aquashella too, because I think you do get some of the better saltwater speakers there. I think I've heard like Richard Ross and Sanjay and some of those folks speak at the Aquashellas. So Zen said it's kind of odd that I made it to a PA event before the Dallas one when I live in Houston. I think that happens to people for whatever reason. I mean, I went to London before I ever went to New York City, so I'm kind of the same way, I guess. I lived in London, and then I went to New York City for about 30 minutes, 25 years later. So, but yeah, if you want to go to a big aquarium show and that's you're into that. So Foxy's barbecuing chicken, trying not to burn the house down. Definitely don't do that. That's not good. Speaking of houses, I did make a discovery in the barn the other day. I've been hearing something like scratching and making noise, but I didn't really know what it was. And then yesterday I caught a glimpse of the said animal that was in there, and thankfully it's not one that's terribly disgusting. It's not like a rat or a mouse or anything like that. There's apparently a squirrel that's decided to make itself at home in my barn. So I think in springtime I will have to extricate it and figure out how it's getting in. I thought I had figured out all of the animal entry points, but apparently I have not. So I'll have to do some hunting and seeing where this said animal is getting itself into my barn. So, but that is a springtime activity. I'm not going to go out there in 9-degree weather and go figure that out. So he'll get a stay of, I won't call it execution because I'm not going to do any animal unaliving, but we will just board up whatever entry points that he thinks he has, and then I'll make sure he's not in there. I'm sure I could trap it too. Like I could get a live trap and trap it, but I don't really feel like messing with that. So apparently I need to ban. Hello, Steven, by the way. So apparently I need to ban Steven because he made In My Tanks take out a personal loan to buy 3 Chihiro's lights for my Planet 10 gallon. It's plant abuse. Otherwise, I will call PPS. So I'm not going to ban Steven. You are you're in charge of your own decision making on that. Um, I'm surprised that you didn't burn the 10-gallon to the ground with 3 Chihiro's lights. I don't know how hot those get, but I'm sure that that's quite a bit of light for a tank of that size. So, and now I'm locked up for going delinquent and texting for my Apple Watch. So, all right. So, like I said, if you want to go to an Aquashella, like I said, it's go. Definitely check it out once. It's there's some cool artwork there too. I didn't mention that, but there's some really good artists. If you're into like fish art and things like that, that's another good thing about Aquashella. So, so Steven says you need Brownie Ghost 2011. I'm imagining that is I imagine that's a boost of some sort. I'm gonna take a bet, and that's a boost of some type. So, all right, let's go ahead and like I said, check out Aquashella. Like it's not my personal one, but if I had unlimited money and unlimited time, I'd probably go to one, but I don't. So, but it is definitely worth going to. Like if you like the big trade show atmosphere and all of that, if that's your scene, go do that. I've kind of settled myself into like more of the aquarium club type events. So, but Aquashella is definitely worthwhile. So, moving onwards here, one we've talked about a lot. I think I've kind of beat some of my complaints to death with this, so I'm not going to anymore. I've said my piece, and I think John's made some updates. So, but Bluegrass Bash, it's American Libraries Association, the Betta Congress, American Cichlid Association, and there's probably somebody else. But Lexington, Kentucky, June 25th through 28th. If you just Google it, or if you go to livebears.org, you can go and check out that event. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably be entering the fish show. So Uncle Joe's Fish Shed said, "Foolish. The AKA is not in this." Maybe they just wanted to do their own thing. I don't know. I'm sure there's reasons and stuff behind that. I'm sure I could talk to certain people and find that out if I wanted to. But so this is my question. I was curious. So Steven said Nancy's event is looking like it'll be a success. Is that so? Is Nancy part of running it? I didn't really know for sure. I don't know if that was like a story or a joke, or if I know John from Select Pet is kind of involved with like the Kentucky Fish Clubs, but I didn't know like Nancy's involvement really. I don't know her as well as John, so I was kind of. Yeah, so, but yeah, so it's, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. That is a very nice drive for me. It's like 6 hours. Like I said a few streams ago, I'm not a huge fan of the swap instead of the auction on Sunday, but I'll live and I'll survive. Okay, that's what I thought there was some story, but I never caught the beginning because I'm not in enough streams. So, but yeah, this will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. So, this will be one I'm going to. So, and we'll go. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I didn't know. Like, I'm not in enough streams to know the story, other than to know that there is a story. So thank you for enlightening me. All right, moving onwards. For those of you that came in kind of later, we're not going to do the barn camp tonight. It's like 9 degrees outside, -1 wind chill, and there's really not a lot to be updated on. There's just not really a lot to say out there right now. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to the next event. You know, if we have some time at the end, we'll go through a couple of these. We'll go on the websites and kind of to poke around a little bit on them a little bit more. Some of these bigger ones. So AKA, I know someone mentioned the AKA. So the AKA is a couple weeks before in St. Louis. So if you're into killifish, you can head out to St. Louis. It's by the airport. I would imagine. I think this will be kind of like the hardcore killie guys will be at this. This will be their thing. You know, I'm sure. You know, Dave Hemmerline will be there. Local guy, kind of local to me. He's kind of involved in all this stuff. So that one's I'm, you know, killifish. They've kind of, I don't know. There's kind of a small but loyal following in Michigan. I think there's some really accomplished, actually, killie people in here. There's some. I know there's a handful of folks in Michigan. They have a killifish club. They kind of kibitz around at each other's houses and stuff. Yeah, there's there's a gentleman named Jurgen Kasprick who's been doing it forever. There's a few other guys here, Mark Lavity. I mentioned Dave Hemmerline from the west side of the state. They're all into the killifish and into the, you know, they show up at our meetings every so often too. I've played with them a little bit. And I had a lot of luck with them, but it's a fun little. I've filmed a killifish convention before. There's a killifish one that we'll get to here a little bit later that we'll talk about too. So if you're into that, head to St. Louis. I'm sure you will learn a lot about killifish if you want to go and check that out. So moving on to the next one here is, I don't have a good logo. I couldn't find a good logo for this one, but I know Aquarium Co-op's involved in this one. This one is the 2026 All Aquarium Catfish Convention. It's near Seattle. And I wish it wasn't so close to the Clash because I would really like to go to this. And I kind of want to go to this not for the Catfish Convention, but I want to use it as an excuse to go and see the co-op and do that kind of stuff. Like maybe, you know, run into Candy and people like that from out there. So I would love to go to this, but I don't think I could pull this one off. I think it's just too close, and that is definitely a flight. Yeah, I think it's like Cataclysm. I think it's like, because at one point there was 2 of them, and then like the Minnesota club or the Madison club like folded, and like a bunch of stuff happened. Like I really would like to go to this, but I think the timing of it's just bad for me. And it's a flight too. It's definitely a flight for me, and I think the flight back from Washington State to Detroit is like the red eye. You know, so you got to leave at like 9 o'clock at 9 o'clock at night Pacific time, which is midnight here, and you get back at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and then you got to try to sleep on the plane, and it's kind of a, I don't know. I do, like I said, I do want to go to this, but I think it's kind of not in the cards, unless you know, we'll see. So that one would be an interesting one to go to. I kind of would, driving there would be god awful. It's been, people have done it. My parents did it back in the 70s. They took a car and they drove it all the way cross country, and then drove it back. I I would do it. Like if I had unlimited time, like if I had like 2 weeks, I would do it. I think it would be kind of fun to drive across country once to kind of, see the world or take the train. You could take a train from Chicago. I'm pretty sure there's a train from Chicago to Seattle. I've seen that on TikTok where they do different train routes. Like I could get on a train here to Chicago and then go from Chicago to Seattle, but not. It's not a short journey, so. But if you could get like a sleeper car, it wouldn't be horrible. Like it'd be better than driving it, probably. So that's a cool one. Like if you can get out to Washington, I'd highly recommend that. And like Corey said on some of his streams, they've been involved in that. So, kind of would, I kind of would like to go. I just don't know if I can pull that one off at that time. If it was like March or sometime like away from the Clash, like I could probably pull it off a little bit better. But we'll see. And like I said, it's a flight too. So that one's, and I wouldn't bring anything. Like I'm not going to bring anything to like a catfish show. Like I don't have that many catfish. So I know there's a bunch of killifish discussion going on with Uncle Joe's Fish Shed and In My Tanks. So thank you guys for kind of keeping the chat going. I'm kind of keeping an eye on it, but you guys seem to be having having some interesting information there about killies. So, all right, Catfish Convention. Check it out if you'd like. I think if you just look up All American, 2026 All Aquarium Catfish Convention, you'll find all the information there. All right, moving on to kind of a more local one. This one is the Michiana Aquarium Society, which is what MASS is. This is the Killie Carnival and Tropical Magic. Lucas used to go to this a lot when he was in Indiana. No, you guys can go ahead and just chat away. I'm go ahead. So yeah, so this is more of a local event. It's not as big. I've been to it once. I went 2021. So Zenny's asking Fish Fam Link to 8-Ball whether I should try to make it to the Catfish Convention. And the 8-Ball says better not tell you now. So, okay. All right, so this one, like I said, it's put on by Michiana Aquarium Society. Yeah, so this is South Bend, Indiana. It's a couple hours away from me, a couple hours away from Beto. You got Jason Adams is going to be there, along with Watercolors, the Aquarium Gallery, Ben Van Dither. I think that will be a pretty good one. It's just like when I went, it was like 2021-ish. It's a smaller show. It's not, it's not like the Clash or it's not like OCA. It's a little bit more low key, but it's kind of cool. There's a fish show. There's a killie show in it. So if you want to go look at killie fish, you can do that. And then, yeah, I think there's some speakers too. Like I said, you got Jason and Watercolors. It's kind of small. Like I said, it's a smaller event, but I know there's an auction on, I think it's Sunday. So if you want to buy some, I think there's a lot of killie fish in that auction. Like I said, it's kind of low key. It's a little bit, maybe with Jason there, and it'll be in Watercolors, it'll be a little bigger. But I mean, I may decide if in April, if I'm not doing anything, maybe I'll go buy a ticket and go get a room at the hotel and kind of check it out for a weekend. Yeah, there's a swap. I sold at the swap. But yeah, it's nice. I mean, sometimes I mean, seeing, say if you wanted to meet Jason Adams or the Watercolors folks, meeting people at a smaller convention is kind of nice, honestly. They have a little bit more time to talk. They're not, there's not a line of 600 people. So, you know what? It may be worth checking out. So, it's a good show. I enjoyed the time I had there. I think I bought some Gaideans at the swap, and then I sold some stuff too. And then I kind of hung out and just spent a weekend away from home. So, not a bad one. All right, next one up. There's not a lot out on this yet because it's in November, but the OCA Extravaganza is the 20th through 22nd. That's in Strongsville, Ohio. And yeah, it's always the weekend right before Thanksgiving. Primarily focused on cichlids and catfish, but you can find other things there, especially with the room sales, which is kind of a big deal with this show. Kind of has the best room sales of any of the fish shows, really. So it's it's a good event, kind of like the Clash, but yeah, Jason actually. So Sean Putnam said I've talked to Jason at the Quad City Swap. Nice guy. Yes, Jason's a great guy. He is one of the few people who have actually been to the Fish Barn in person. He's been here. OCA stands for Ohio Cichlid Association. So I should have said that earlier. So yeah. So Jason is one of the few people who's been inside the Fish Barn. There's not many people that can say that. I don't know if he was traumatized by that or not, but Joanna Bennett was with him too. So, but he's one of the few that have actually been in the Fish Barn. So got the OCA. It's a fun event. If you go to the, I think there's like in Ohio, there's a shop hop. I think Friday. There's a fish show for that too. There's auctions on Sunday, and then there's the room sales. I think which is kind of the best part of it. But it's a lot of fun. I've not been in quite a few years now, so I probably should make an appearance again there. That's kind of where I got started speaking. I talked to somebody at the auction just randomly, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to speak?" I'm like, "Sure." I saw your channel, and I'm like, "Sure, I'll come speak." And that's kind of how the speaking thing got started. It was at the OCA. But I probably should make an appearance back at that. The one thing, though, with the OCA is I kind of, for me, like after our auction in like November, I kind of go into like a fish hibernation period for a few weeks until like January. I kind of want to just like chill out for a while, but maybe I'll go this year. We'll see. All right. Speaking of Quad Cities Fish Swap, that's the next one kind of on our list here. Is so this is one I want to go to very badly. It's on the list, and I think it's the same as the it's the week before Tropical Magic. So I will probably go on the 19th. I'll have to see if I make sure I can make that happen, but I don't see why not. That is in something I've wanted to go to once. It's kind of on the bucket list for me to go to. It's in Davenport, Iowa. I think that's about a 7-hour drive, probably with stops. But do want to go April 19th. It's from 12 to 4. Those are all the dates there. Yeah, should be. It's the largest swap in the country. So I think after February 5th, I'll probably buy a table just to make it kind of easier. So I have a place to sit and hang out for a while. So that one, that's just a swap, but I've heard it's enormous, and it's one that I want to check out. I'd go in February, but the drive can be really, really iffy in February, especially if you get around Lake Michigan and you hit like lake effect snows and stuff like that. And get a little funky. So Foxy's going to be vending at that as well. So maybe we'll maybe a bunch of people will go to that. So that'd be kind of fun too if a bunch of people came. Like, I think April 19th is Sunday, I believe. Let me look at the calendar real quick. I think it's Sunday. And not. April 19th is a Sunday. So it's a Sunday. I'd probably take a day off of work that Monday because I don't know if I want to do that gig so much. So, all right. So, I've not been to this, but it'd be something I'd definitely be very interested in going to. Up next now, these didn't come through very well when I blew them up, but these are the dates for the GCCA swap. You got a February 2nd, March 29th, September 27th, and November 1st. So those are always really good too. It's in a nice hotel. The venue's nice. Yeah, so it's in Northbrook. It's at the Hilton Northbrook in Chicago. It's kind of northwest suburbs-ish of Chicago, a little bit past the airport. So not a bad trip for me for that one either. Makes for a little bit of a late night on Sunday, but that's okay. Let me see, how far it is. I think I did map it once, but I'll map it again here real quick. So we'll flip back real quick. Sorry. All right. So the Rhythm City Casino Resort is 6 hours and 30 minutes. So it'll be like 7.5 hours by the time you stop and get gas, food, do all that stuff. So go to the bathroom a couple times. So, but Chicago's always fun. I always kind of try to pair it with an American Library or a Chicago Library Association meeting. So that'll be a fun one too. And then I think that was the last one. So I think we got through all the events. Then you have your local swaps, auctions. The Detroit auction, the Motor City auction is on the 28th of February. So it'll be at the St. Basil's Church. Starts 10:30. So with that, we'll go ahead and we'll play the fish game. I've finally exhausted all of the Keystone Clash fish, so that lasted me a good couple months, which was nice. I'll have to go back to some of my old fish shows and maybe pull some pictures out of that too. Maybe I'll go back and pull one out of there's some aquatic experiences from 2018 that I can go to, a few other ones too. So with that, let's go ahead and we'll play the fish game. So we've got better pictures now. I went and pulled them off where I get them from the internet. So for anyone who's new, I'll go ahead and I'll show you a picture of the fish. Go ahead and guess in chat how basic you think they are from 1 to 10. 1 being very basic, 10 being cool. After a few moments, I will go ahead and show you my daughter, who's a freshman at Michigan State University. I will show you her answer. So let's go ahead and we'll get started with it. So first one up here is a Panda Cory. I was looking for a CW 217, but I couldn't get a good enough picture. I couldn't steal a good enough picture for it, so I used Shutterstock and just got one of these. So I don't know if that was to me, Uncle Joe, but if do I play Nintendo Switch? I do. I have played it. I do play it occasionally, but I so um, so Zen's got an 8. Steven's got 10. Beto's got 7. Steven, I did put another rainbow fish on this. I was kind of motivated by your drawing on Friday night. I'm like, hey, I should like go pull that fish up and see if she'll like that one. So there's a Bosemani rainbow in here. So Catahoulous has got 5. Foxy's got 8. So I don't know how many folks we've got. So, all right, we'll give it a few. Steven says, I don't. I know she didn't rate this a 10, but I'm just being hopeful. Maybe she did. Maybe she did. I will say she's nicer than she's been recently on these. I was kind of hoping that the quality of picture didn't play into it as much, but I think it might. So, Sweet Polly's got 5. So, we'll give it another couple minutes here. All right, going a couple seconds, I mean, not minutes. The Atinjo, yep, that's a nice one too. They're all, I love rainbows. Like, I think in a, I'm low key, like, would be a rainbow fish hoarder if I didn't keep Gudeids and stuff. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and we'll flip it over here. So she gave this one a 3, so she didn't like the catfish very much. One of these days we'll have to have her on and have her explain her choices. She probably, like, I'm a terrible photographer. Like, I steal those, like, a lot of those pictures actually come off of videos. So I'll like stop it, and then I'll, do like a screenshot of it. So yeah. So it's not very nice to the Panda Cory. So, all right, next up, OB Peacock. Or I should actually, one of the things I should do too is I should take pictures out of my fish room too. Like, I should get some video and then get a picture on it out of my fish room. So, yeah. So this came off of Shutterstock. Yeah, you can tell it's like cut out a little bit, but yeah, this is a kind of nice looking OB Peacock. So Zenny's got 8 along with Beto. That makes my green screen look really bad in the black. It's generally pretty decent when it's, I didn't realize that until I was looking at it. But Sean, I think rainbows like hard water. Like, my water here is like 7.8 to 8 with like a call it 150-ish ppm for JH or GH and KH. So all right. So we got Sweet Polly's got 8, Steven's got 7, and my tanks has 9, Foxy's got 7, and Catahoulous has 8. We'll give it a couple more seconds here to go ahead and put in your guesses. Give it like and we'll let you guys show you guys what she ranked this. So, All right, going once, going twice, sold. So she gave this an 8. So, yeah, I figured that rainbows would be fine in hard water. All right, so we got a bunch. We got Zenny, Beto, Sweet Polly, and Cathulis all got it. So, guys were kind of on point with that one. Up next, there's our Bosemani. So, nice, big, beautiful Bosemani. So, so 4, Zen's got 5. Sweet Polly's got 7. Beto has 7. Steven's got 6. Cathulis has 6. He's sighing. I thought about Steven, like, asking you for her drawing for your guys' drawings, and then having her rank those that you do on the is it what the fish. Like, I thought about that, reaching out to you, being like, hey, send me the drawings after your stream, and that, like, we can have her rank them. Like the fish in the drawings, not how well you draw them. Let me be clear about that. You guys do a lot better drawing than I would do drawing those. Mine would be an abomination to society if I tried to draw. I'm not an artist. So, all right. Oh, this is an aquarium strain one, so it's mid. Oh, is it? I guess it could be because it's not very defined, I think. If you go look at the... Yeah, I can see that. She probably likes it better than it's in the aquarium strain. Wow, she'll rank it higher. So Steven says, I'll send you my drawings. She can roast them into pieces if she wants. No, I mean, you can. I mean, maybe we'll do one. I think you have my contact stuff information. So if you want to, maybe for like next week, we'll use the drawings from What the Fish, and then I'll send her those and have her rank the fish that are in the drawings. See what she says. Hunchback of Notre Dame fish. They kind of have an interesting look. I've kind of enjoyed the look of rainbow fish, even with the big weird back on them. I think they're fine. I like them. So without further ado, let me see what she ranked them. So she gave this one an 8. So she gave the Gary Langhater rainbow fish an 8. So did anyone guess 8? Or I think she snowballed you guys from the prior ones. Yeah, I think closest was Beto and Sweet Polly. So yeah, so the yeah, so she liked that one. So I think there's an element of my picture taking with some of the rainbow fish too. I think I am gonna try to dig up some other ones and see if she likes those too. I think that's my goal. Is to dig up some other rainbow fish and see if she's still likes them. So, all right, up next, the tilapia. I actually used this picture for my talk on the G'day talk. So some of these are like recycled for like thumbnails and stuff. Like you'll see these, especially some of the ones early on when we did this. We'll see, thumbnails of particular fish, or I'll use them in a talk or something like that. So this is one. This is a blue tilapia. It's an Oreochromis. Shoot. So I gave her a big ugly one. So since she's a dietitian major, though, she might actually know what this is. I should ask her if she knows like what this is. But apparently, though, her I'm reading your guys' comments. the oh God got me going because when I looked up tilapia, half of them were like dead on plates, right? So it was kind of funny because I was like I said, I used this for the talk because people I've put tilapia in Ghanaian environments and they've been eating the fish, et cetera, right? And like half of them were like fish on plates. Like it's like, well, I can't put that one in the talk to a fish club. I think that would kind of not go over well. So I wonder if she knows what this fish is. I'm going to text her. Though I'm hoping that she doesn't get the stomach bug because her roommate has the stomach bug that's been going around. So hopefully she doesn't get it. Not only does she have to walk in freezing temperatures to class, she's probably now going to get stomach flu too. So there'll be she might be a hot mess, but we'll see. Yeah, so the tilapia, let's go ahead and see what she ranked it. I think you guys were kind of on point with that. So 2. So Catahoulous had it, Beto had it, Zenny and Sweet Polly all got 2s. So all right, I think we got one more. All right, Congo Tetra. Stark difference to the big ugly tilapia. So, I mean, I guess you could fillet a Congo Tetra and eat it if you so chose. You might need a few to be fulfilled. You know, you might need like 15 or 20 of them, maybe. You know, but if you so choose. But yeah, I think this is a little bit of a nicer fish than the tilapia. So we got Zen and Beto with 9s, Catahoulous with 7, Sean Putnam with 8, Sweet Polly with 8. So Zen says blue, orange, and sparkly. I wouldn't be surprised at a 10. Yeah, I've not had these in a long time, but I don't really have anywhere to put them right now. Excuse me. Sorry, I've been getting this cold air is kind of been not good. So, all right, we got a couple more 8s. We'll give it a. I know we've already reached 9 o'clock here, so we'll give it a couple seconds here, and then we'll flip it over, and then we can kind of wrap stuff up a little bit. All right, we'll go ahead here and we'll flip it in 3, 2, 1. So she gave it a 10. So Zenny was on the right track. So no one got 10. I don't think she's given a 10 out in a while. So then Foxy came through with a 9 too. So yeah, so everyone was close, but she went ahead and gave that a 10. So. Have I ever kept a Ranga? It's like a glass. I've never kept a Ranga. I've not really. I don't really keep a lot of stuff like that. It's mostly live bears. Like I've kind of niched myself down to live bears, a few rainbow fish, Lake Tanganyikan cichlids, and that's kind of it. So that is the fish game, and then that is all of the and then that's all of the the convention stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at that. It's definitely a lot of fun to kind of look at the conventions. It was kind of a good way to kind of see what's out there. I know I probably missed a lot of smaller conventions. There's probably a bunch now at the top of my head. Now that we've talked about it, there's a bunch of. I know there's like. What's it called? There's one out in like Portland that like Daniken was involved with for a while. Fishtoberfest. There's that. I think there's some like in like the Northeast, like NEC. And I think there's one in Florida too that I kind of missed. They're kind of smaller club type conventions, and I think there's probably one in South Carolina. I think that someone does too. So there's definitely some that I missed that are kind of more local. So like check out your local like fish groups and stuff if you're not from the Midwest. And there's probably some pretty nice small little conventions you can go to. And then don't forget about your auctions and swaps and things like that. I think I might do next week's stream on like talking about like the swaps and stuff. I think it's starting to get a little oversaturated. I think everyone and their brother is trying to get money, and it's almost around here. I just saw another one come up this week. It was kind of triggered me on that topic. But I think next week we might talk about swaps and are there too many? Like I think Chicago is okay. Like Betos is like the green water swaps. I think Michigan is starting to swap itself to death. Like literally, like every club now, especially like the west side of the state, there's a swap, there's an auction. Like the clubs are doing 3. And then I saw one that I think it was like a private individual that found a weekend is doing one too. It's like you guys need to kind of slow your roll a little bit, I think, because there's only so much. Like I felt like it's like there's no people only have so much time and B so much money to go spend at these things because fish, is a discretionary hobby, right? So. It's like I'll pull up the list. Maybe like that'll be my assignment for next week is to pull up the list of all the swaps, and then just go through them all, and it'll be like it's insane. So, as I think we'll do that. I think we'll call it for tonight. Thank you guys all for joining. It's been. It's a little bit different format tonight. I decided to try something a little bit different without going out to the barn. Like I said, it's cold, and it's going to get colder for a little bit. We might do the same format next week because I think next week's still going to be kind of cold, and then I think hopefully the weather will break a little bit, and we'll be fine after that. But yeah, like I said, fish are fine in the cold weather. It's just that I don't want to walk outside. I've been kind of having to go back to the office more than I would like, to be honest with you. So, I've been outside a little more than I normally would be. So, anyways, guys, have a great week. I will see you guys on next Tuesday, and I'll let you know how my talk went, and then we'll probably talk about fish swaps. So have a great